This is not a story about a single mistake. It is about systems failing quietly. On the evening of February 24th, 1978, 5 men from Yuba County, California, drove north. Their destination was ordinary. A college basketball game at California State University, Chico, less than 80 miles from home. The route there was familiar. Low-elevation highways, wide lanes, towns, gas stations, winter-maintained roads. The game ended just before 10 p.m. They returned to the parking lot, entered a 1969 Mercury Montego, and began the drive south. Nothing about the plan suggested risk. Highway 70 would have carried them out of Chico through the Sacramento Valley, toward Yuba City and Marysville. Flat terrain, open visibility, no mountain passes, no snowpack. This was not a remote journey. It was a routine drive taken many times before. After leaving campus, they stopped at a convenience store along the route. Snacks were purchased, drinks, small, unremarkable details. It is the last confirmed moment any of them was seen alive. Beyond that point, the geography changes quickly. Northeast of Chico, the land rises without gradual warning. Valley roads narrow. Forested terrain begins to climb. The Sierra Nevada foothills transition into mountain routes that gain elevation fast, especially in winter. One of those routes is the Oroville-Quincy Road, a 2-lane mountain road that leads away from population centers and into the Plumas National Forest. In February, this region is defined by snowpack, freezing nighttime temperatures, and limited visibility after dark. Roads remain open inconsistently. Conditions can shift within miles. This landscape does not announce its risk immediately. It looks passable until it is not. That night, somewhere after the last known stop, the intended route was abandoned. The car did not continue south. Instead, it climbed. The deviation was not discovered immediately. When the 5 men did not return home, initial searches focused on the expected route, Highway 70, the valley roads between Chico and Yuba City. Nothing was found. Several days later, the search expanded beyond the obvious. On February 28th, a Forest Service ranger recognized a vehicle description and guided deputies into the Plumas National Forest. The car was located along the Oroville-Quincy Road. It sat at roughly 5,000 feet of elevation, partially lodged in a snowbank just off the roadway. There was no collision damage. The engine was functional. The fuel tank was not empty. The vehicle had not failed. Inside, the scene was orderly. Snack wrappers from the convenience store. The basketball game program. Road maps folded and placed in the glove compartment. Nothing suggested panic. Nothing suggested a struggle. The doors were unlocked. The keys were missing. The surrounding environment told a different story. Snowbanks rose higher than the car in places. Nighttime temperatures dropped well below freezing. Visibility could collapse within minutes. Soon after the vehicle was found, search crews attempting to access the area were forced to turn back. Tracked vehicles nearly lost their bearings as blizzard conditions moved through the forest. Any movement beyond the road would have been slow, disorienting, and physically demanding. There was no clear indication of how long the men had remained with the car. No footprints could be reliably traced. Snowfall had erased earlier evidence. The working assumption was simple. They had left the vehicle on foot. In severe winter conditions, at night, far from known shelter. At that moment, there was still room for correction. The car was operable. The road remained technically open. But whatever choice was made at the snowbank, it closed the most reliable option for survival. From there, the search was overtaken by winter. The critical period is what followed the abandonment of the car. Not the detour itself, but the sequence of decisions that came after. The Mercury Montego was not immobilized. It was not wrecked. It was not out of fuel. It was stuck, but recoverable. Remaining with the vehicle would have provided shelter from wind, a fixed location for searchers, and insulation from snowpack. Instead, the group left it. From that point forward, every option narrowed. Movement through deep snow at 5,000 feet requires sustained effort. Each step consumes heat. Each pause allows it to drain. Progress is slow. Orientation degrades quickly in darkness and forest cover. At some point, the group fractured. This is not inferred from psychology, but from distance. Months later, their remains would be found spread across miles of terrain, some closer to the road, others farther upslope. One inside a Forest Service trailer, nearly 20 miles away. The trailer changes how the sequence is understood. It was not hidden. It was stocked. Inside were canned food, paper, matches, wood for heating. Ted Wire reached it. He survived for weeks, possibly months. His body was found on a bed wrapped in sheets. His beard growth indicated prolonged survival. Yet the food was largely untouched. The heating system was never activated. No fire had been lit. This was not a lack of resources. It was a failure to convert availability into action. Shoes tell a similar story. Wire's shoes were missing. Gary Mathias's shoes were present. That implies movement between individuals. After separation from the car, after arrival at the trailer. It suggests decisions made under exhaustion, cold, and diminishing clarity. The forest did not need to overwhelm them quickly. It only needed time. Every mile traveled reduced the chance of regrouping. Every hour increased dependence on judgment that was already under strain. By the time spring arrived, there was no single path to retrace, only endpoints. The remaining discoveries came only after the snow receded. In early June, motorcyclists traveling through the forest found the Forest Service trailer. Inside was Ted Wire. In the days that followed, search teams located 3 more sets of remains. Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Jackie Hewitt. They were found at varying distances. Between the abandoned car and the trailer, all had died from exposure. No signs of violence were documented. No evidence suggested an external threat. Gary Mathias was never found. His absence remains one of the case's fixed limits. Investigators could reconstruct positions, distances, and environmental conditions. They could not reconstruct intention. The facts did not resolve into a single explanation. A working vehicle left behind. A navigable road abandoned. A stocked shelter underused. These were not singular failures. They formed a sequence. Each choice reduced flexibility. Each movement traded certainty for distance. Official conclusions stopped there. The case remains open, not because it lacks evidence, but because the evidence does not converge. It documents how a routine night shifted into a landscape where correction became harder than continuation. Not through spectacle, but through accumulation. Small deviations made in winter on unfamiliar ground without a clear moment to reverse. What remains is not a mystery of motive, but a record of movement, in the limits of recovery once the margin is gone. Until the next story unveils, this is the Liminal log. Thank you for watching.